Good morning. It is just after 10:30 a.m. and it is Sunday, which means it is time for Sunday Club, a weekly Ruby on Rails live stream where we build an app together every week in Ruby on Rails. And the app that we are working on at the moment is a event ticketing and registration platform. And that is, I think, all the preamble that we need this week because there's not a lot of follow-up to do. We dropped it while working on organizations and organization memberships and things last week. And I think I've done nothing in the meantime. Thank you to those a couple of people have reached out just to say hi. Actually, nothing specific about the feed or the app or anything like that, or the streams. But hello to people. I think my Twitter is in the video descriptions, and someone reached out to me on LinkedIn. I felt very professional this week, and so hello to people that said hello. And a couple of people said, I think one person said they had questions and then didn't ask me any questions. So feel free. I don't know if I'll be able to answer them, but I'm always happy to try and help. But without any feedback, without any follow-up, let's pretty much just dive straight in. And another thing that I think we ran long last week, so having a good time and getting some stuff done. I don't think we will have that much time because I've got to go and see a friend today. So I think 12 is probably our cutoff. Let's go build some stuff. Organizations is where we were up to. I've still got the migrations we were working at open. So I don't even know, had we run these migrations at all? Where were we up to? Let's see where we were up to. Let's just try and run them. I don't know if they're correct or not. We can kind of pick up where we left off last week by clicking around blindly. It's usually a good place to start. DB migrate, nothing happened. Okay, so that would kind of assume that we have run them. Great. Okay, so which gives us organizations, which have a name. Bump the font size up a little bit on here, actually. Organizations, which have a name. Nothing else. And then an organization membership, which has a user that has to be there and an organization that has to be there. Okay, cool. Yeah, cool. Okay, fine. I don't really know what we're doing with these yet, but we're going to go and do it anyway. Did we create any models for these things? We had an organization that has a name that validates to true. And we haven't yet created an organization membership or added any associations on either of the models. Do we want to do that first? I think probably before going and working out what to do. Okay, so let's see what we committed as well. Where is what we got in here? Oh, okay, I committed things. Add migration for organizations. Oh, for organization membership, sorry. We added organizations and added a spec for it, which does the validating of the name, and it's supposed to be fixed up into something by the looks of things. Add shoulda matches is supposed to get fixed up. Okay, cool. I just added this migration for organization membership. Okay, so I guess adding the model for that is next. I know that people do that thing where they leave one failing test so they can pick up where they left off. Good for those people. Well done for being so organized. I think I had to run. I think we're going to pick up our new coffee table. I think that's what I was doing last Sunday. Let's make a model. It's a pretty good coffee table if that helps. It's secondhand, but it's nice. Okay. Oh, yeah, the other thing that I need to... Oh, hang on, right. Where's Notion? Because we said we were going to do some stuff. Let me see if I can get it open here. Hang on a second. Just going to pull this browser over because I want to start making notes of things that I realize we have to work on. Okay, cool. Let's this Notion here, update and see what's new. And I want to add in like what are these cards? Are these cards like, are we going to treat these like user stories, or are we going to treat them like features? Like I haven't really thought this through yet, shockingly. Yeah, we'll have to have a think about that as well. So add what were we talking about? It was like Rebocop, basically. Add Rebocop to the, because I was missing the little magic commenty thing that I normally get prompted for, and all the other bad habits that I undoubtedly introduce all the time. So I think we had basically decided not to worry about the concept of having an organization membership that could be like soft delete or anything that. And for now, we're going to go with the dumbest implementation, or I guess the simplest implementation, which is the presence of the record indicates the membership, and the absence of a record indicates no membership. And that's probably not what you want. You probably want an audit trail and stuff like that, which I mentioned last week. But I think we can get away with it. So organization and user. Oh, you could do these as one, I guess. Is that the syntax for that? I think so. Well, let's add some tests and find out. I've been writing some code this week, some more code than usual. I really enjoyed it. I forgot that, like, it's a thing that I do. Some weeks, some months, you don't always get to write a lot of code. You know, because of work and life and stuff. Sometimes. Oh, why haven't I got a user spec then? Did we miss one? Because we haven't added any logic on there yet. Okay, maybe we have to add both then. So let's organization, membership spec. Should validate presence of user, organization, and it. Those should have matches have like it should belong to. Oh wait, this is the wrong syntax. Shouldn't this be it is expected .2? Because I think I copied this out. Oh man, I'm gonna have to rebase all this already. Ugh. Let's just go and check the spec. One line expect. On the syntax is expected .2, yeah, something like that. I think we can. Let's see if this one's still. We can just do. How do you want to run? Just that one. I'm hoping we can get back to some UI stuff, but I think this is what we were skipping previously when we were just not doing any due diligence or nothing. But it did mean we couldn't really ship the code because we didn't have any kind of standards or anything getting committed sensibly or anything. So it is a bit slower on the stream, but I think we get it done. Right. Okay. So let's just update aspect syntax. Pretty sure we'll have to do that elsewhere as well. Cause do these so we can swap this part out from here, and then belong to user and organization. Cool. So this run this one, see if it works. Cool. It doesn't do anything else for now. Represents that thing, I guess. Again, usual caveats. That was given some thought to actually during the week about not having done any product design or UI design for this stuff. Like I'd mentioned it at the end of last week's stream, but I think it would be really cool to do a couple of streams. Maybe not on the Sunday morning session. Maybe keep those to Rails, but about that side of things, like how we might approach it. Because you know what would be really cool would be to speak to some product managers about it, like genuinely, because there's so many like methodologies and all the stuff they do is like some of it's generic to them, some of it's unique to their industry, organization, or something. But they have a lot of I say they, like product managers in general often have like yeah, I guess methodologies, is it like there's like, I don't know how to describe it, but like the idea of some of them being really metrics focused, some of them more qualitative, and again, I guess that depends on just the ones I that bump into in the world, and also like what industry you're in, I guess. And also what exactly what the product manager's function is in your organization. But if we're starting from a blank sheet of paper and we out the other end, we want to come an event registration application that focuses on groups, something has to happen in the middle. Like there's a process flow diagram there, and in the middle is just like question mark, question mark, question mark. And I think some of them do go off and get involved in the kind of more user experience researchy side of things. Or some of them, I would imagine, there are entire teams of people who do that stuff and they don't get involved in that. So it'd be interesting to kind of like bring one on the stream. I don't know how we would do that, but kind of interesting. How do we know users and admin? Can we just, no, I think we can just have teams. That's probably too close. Yeah, okay. As many users. Yeah, any user from an organization can have many of it at the same time. Using a member of multiple organizations. I mean, okay, fine. So what we don't have here then is the associations from the other side. So we can go to user and we can actually create a spec for this at the same time. Cool, let's just do some, I don't know, did we put any validation on user? Oh, we probably should, okay. Email is probably the thing we care about, but I'm assuming Devise adds that, so does this work? Does Devise do this? Yeah, okay, cool. And it is expected to have many organization memberships, which it doesn't. Great. And What I think we'll do is just get these associations up and running, and then go back and rebase everything. Just get things tidied up, because if I don't do it on the stream, then I won't. Last time it has proved that it won't happen. So I know it's not amazingly exciting stuff, but like I said, the stream, once we're building this application, it won't be quite as rock and roll and thrilling as it was before. But I think we can all come to terms with that. Right, what am I doing committing this? Add as many memberships association to user model. Then we do the same for organization. Is that we expected to have we should do validate presence of above it, actually. Go the other way around. Yeah, I think I would expect it's handy when the specs match the order of things in the model. I have seen it where the formatting of like how things are done in the model is actually part of like the coding standards for the application. You like do this, then so then you kind of always know. I've noticed that tends to happen kind of organically anyway, even if it's not in the coding standards. Just because, I guess, because the same developers put things in the same order. They're working on an app. Okay, I'm not going to worry about this because I don't care right now. Let's get back to the bit. Fine. Validate presence name, have many organization memberships. And this should... Yeah, I don't know. I now can't remember which order I normally expect those to be in. I think it's because multiple code bases that I see have them done differently, but we'll come back to that. Let's actually, that is another one to put on. Where's Notion gone in here? Can we grab standards from somewhere? I'm just gonna make this a bit smaller. Standards from somewhere. So what do I mean by that? I don't actually mean the Rubocop side of things, because that's automated. There's decisions in the code base that aren't always parsable by something like a Rubocop or something like that, and it's super helpful if you just decide up front what you're going to do, because then it makes things like code review or just working easier. Because like, oh, where do I put this? And even if you actually don't like it's not your favorite way of doing things, you might just be like, actually not thinking about it is my favorite thing. And so I'm just going to do what the coding standards for this application indicate I should do. Like, it would be the ordering of things. Yeah, anything that's not Rubocopable, or like, the other thing is like, anything you could put in a CI check. So if you fail CI, if it's like, hey, you've touched this area of the code base and you haven't, I don't know, made it your favorite font color or whatever, I don't know what the hell it is, but like you could put that as a blocker to that commit actually getting into the application. But coding, I think there's another area of coding standards that is like unautomatable as to how things might be done, and they could be maybe higher level. It could be like I guess you could include stuff like how to structure I don't know about features, but like how you could approach certain things in the code base. I mean, normally you'd look at how it was done previously, but I guess the coding standards would be a place where it's like, hey, we did it this way and this way. if in doubt, err on the side of doing it this way because of reasons X, Y, and Z. And that is like super duper helpful if you're joining a new application or like us, starting one from scratch, and you just don't want to. And I'm especially because I'm only doing this once a week, or like coming to it so once in a while. I can't remember what I was doing, and if you happen to have been looking at some code that does something different that week, you might just do it how you've been doing it that week, and then you end up with 2 different implementations. Whereas if you have a set of docs, you can go look. I think it'd be pretty helpful for us personally. I'm assuming there's some open source ones we can go and grab. That's why I put, can we get them from somewhere? I didn't mean steal any. I meant like, I'm assuming that's a thing. I have no idea. I don't think I've ever looked for an open source version. That'd be pretty interesting as well. Okay, so I think we could just commit. I didn't come remember where I got to. Went off on a ramble. So what did we update here? Oh, we did change the order of these. Okay, right, then we come back to that. I can't remember what order we want them in. We'll decide in a second when we rebase it. To validate and have many. Validate and have many. Okay, fine. So we can add organization to organization. Great. Okay, so we've got all the models there. I don't think we'll keep much of that same because I don't think having the absence presence thing is entirely tenable, but we can. Right. Where are we in terms of oh my god, so many commits. Okay, right. We didn't do this much on the stream previously, but I am going to rebase this stuff now. And I know it's not exciting to watch, but we just didn't do it last time. And it meant we never got anything into master because I just kept coming to this and just making these branches longer and longer. So rebasing them got more and more confusing because I couldn't remember what we were doing. So remove mini test files. Okay, fine. Right, let's actually read these. Let's actually read these properly. How far back do we go? Too far, too far, too far. No, way too far. Okay. Remove mini test files. So this is back to master. Okay. These would generate automatically. Okay, that can go. Add us back in the default config files. For some reason, that's there twice. Okay. Add migration for organization. Add null constraints. That one literally has to be fixed up into the one previous. Okay. Add organization model. Install should have. Right. These two can come up here. Let's get some of the admin junk out of the way. Remove mini test. Wait, why have I got remove mini test files twice? One is actually in master already. Did I cherry pick those? Did I cherry pick 2 of these? I have a memory of add default device views is also in here. Right, okay. Okay. Let's, I'm actually just gonna load up, see if we can get, it's not, I haven't actually put this repo in here yet. So let's do that first. Bear with me, just so we can see what's gone on. So this is what I avoided doing on the stream previously, because it's boring and it's not. I can't. I'm doing source tree just to see this visually. I can't change the font size on this. So if you're in the chat and looking at me like, hey, I can't read that. That's why. Right. Okay. Yeah. So we had our add Pundit branch. That's why. That says add Pundit if you can't read it on the stream. There's another branch called add Pundit, and that's what we were doing when we said, oh, okay, well, let's go back and put in organizations and users so that we could do the can their user access this thing? Are they an admin? So remove mini test files was from there. Okay, that's fine, but we moved on to here, and this is going to go in first, so that can stay. Great. Okay, these will generate automatically. Yeah, don't care anymore about that. Add aspect and default config files. Yep, fine. And then we can do install the shoulda matches, so these two can come up. Let's do this now. I know it's painful, but we're going to do it because we're very diligent. No, we're not doing anything like that. We're going to do git rebase. I'm just going to do some tiny little steps just so that we can do bit by bit. So this one and this one can come up to after adding RSpec. That can get fixed up. Another message is correct for that. Still should have matches gem for RSpec. Do we need to add anything around this? I don't think there's a lot in a commit message to say. We're adding the gem. Like, why are we adding it? Because we want... Maybe. Let's just put a little bit about why we're adding. And yeah, sorry. Again, I'm sorry if these aren't readable. And this one says we generate the config files with add RSpec. I'm not going to put why we're using RSpec because it's the test suite. Like it is what it is. If you're coming back and questioning why we didn't use mini-test, you can. Have used this gem without any hassle in the past, and I like the one. I like the syntax. I think that's the wrong word. Provides. So why am I writing anything at all? Because I think you could get away with not doing anything at all. Because I think I would look to any kind of gem installation commit to look for anything like, hey, I needed to do this for reason X, Y, or Z. So removing it or updating it in the future, you might want to bear this in mind. Whereas this is like, oh no, I'm used it in the past. I like it. Like that tells me something. It's not that like, oh, there was a technical emergency and this was like super important to the solution or anything like that. And I know that's not likely to be the same, for a shoulda matches gem, and you can kind of go look at the thing and be like, oh yeah, it adds a syntax to the test. But why make future you or another developer hunt around for some functionality that, or for some information? If it's like, oh yeah, it just seemed like they wanted it, so cool. So add migration. Right, there's just an immediate fix to that one as well. So let's do that as well. You can, like if you're watching this, you're like, oh, this isn't how I do mine. Like I'm aware that we could just do all these in one rebase. And I do see people doing that, that I know, because they can hold it all in their head. But it's Sunday morning, so we're just going to do it one by one. And again, we're just going to fix up all of the fix-ups into the commit above. But not all of them, because I'm going to check what they are first. So yeah, again, I can't change this font size. So that is updating the RSpec syntax, but that is for the organization. So that one's going to jump up one, go into there. Okay. Just doing this pretty quickly, not really narrating particularly clearly what I'm doing, but this one is going to go up and get fixed up into there. Great, so now we have remove mini test files. I'm going to like add RSpec, install the shoulda matches gem for RSpec, add migration for organization, add organization model. They could be one commit, but whatever. This model will represent organizations that can own events. Yep, fair enough. Add migration for organization membership, add organization membership model and tests. Add association. Add the associations. I'm just going to write those commits up. And then I think we basically have something that we can merge in, because we're in the early stages, so we don't really care. But I'm just going to get these in. And then we can jump back to our add Pundit branch, rebase it on top of all this stuff. And now we have the things that we need to work out if a user can access a thing. So I think we added like an admin namespace. Yep. So we had a thing, so we can get to where we started a couple of weeks ago. So let's just write up a couple of these commit messages. Super fun and exciting. Literally, we've already forgotten which one's already had the message. So from add organization model onwards. I agree. I think so. All of these looking for R, which is reword. And migration for organization membership. No, I think we can just do that in the model. Yeah, so add migration for. Yeah, actually, maybe we do just want to do this in one commit because there's no point in separating those out. Okay, so let's save that. And we can rebase that back in a second. So organization model. This model is going to represent a user being a member of an organization at this early stage. We're going to use that membership as a way of saying that the user can administrate events owned by the organization. However, there's an early assumption that this will be placed later with a more robust set of the more robust authorization process. Note that we are using a basic. No, we don't need to write that. We just use presence and absence for now. That can be someone else's problem when we write that up. Okay, so that one can get merged in with the migration thing. Add organization membership association to user model. Yeah, I think that is what it is. Just do the same thing there. They are what they are, and then we can just do the whole thing again. Sorry, I know that this is not thrilling compared to doing other stuff, but that these can go together. These can probably go together as well, actually. Membership organizations, yeah. Yeah, I've written the same thing twice so they can go. We don't really need that other stuff. Again, I'm sure there's probably, you could have a standard here if you wanted to. Your commit messages. Yeah, okay. And that can go into same thing. Cool, I think we're done. Did that work? Why is this sticking around? Oh, it's gone. It's just taking its time. Cool. Okay, so now we have some nice tidy commits. And one thing I did say I was going to do was turn these into PRs. And I said that because it was really handy on the last stream to have the PRs to refer back to. Rather than just merging them in, I might, again, I know this isn't quite as thrilling for the stream, but hopefully it does kind of get across, because I think if you do this all day, every day, you're like, oh, yeah, why am I watching someone do what I already do for a living? But if you don't work in this workflow, it could potentially be useful for people to see, especially I guess for solo developers, because there's not always that mandate to make the PR. Like if you've got a branch that you're working on, you push it to CI or whatever. I guess you could just run the test locally if you wanted to do that. If there's no one's going to review it, you could just merge it and ship master up and have that run through CI and CD maybe, or something like that. And why would you need to make PRs? Whereas I actually find that process beneficial to me. Organizations, right? So let me actually get it up in another. So I've just got something to get up into other tabs, so bear with me. Great, okay. And put it over here. Okay, so it's in Safari. Put this over here. Cool. And we can compare a pull request. So we've got add organizations as a pull request. So we've just read all the code. We've just read all the commits, so we're pretty happy. I think, just take a quick look through a bunch of gems stuff. Did we end up doing these in the same order? Oh, fuck, we didn't. There's the wrong way around. Okay. I have a, hang on a second. I've got an actual, hang on, just out of sheer curiosity, where's Firefox gone? Can we Google Rails coding standards open source? What's the Rails one? Open source guidelines. Coding styles for open source project. I think all these are talking about Rebocop though. Maybe we could, again, like I was talking about having the product, like a product manager session or something like. I think maybe writing your own coding standards would be interesting for people. I don't know. Like, whenever I get feedback about stuff, it's usually not anything that I talk about. So, okay, maybe. I think I've got one of my own repos somewhere that has one of these in it, just to tell you like the order of things. Let me go look in. Hang on a second. Yeah. Right. Here's the thing. I don't know where this came from, but this is from a repo that I wrote. But I think I wrote, and I must have written this as well. Models should be laid out in the following order: modules, concerns, constants, actions, and callback belongs to, then has many, and then validations later. Okay. Hang on, let me pull this onto the screen. You can put it in. I love Notion. Like, just generally being able to grab anything formatted from anywhere. Can we use these are from another, because this is public. The Notion, if you want to access it. Actually, let me chuck the that Max owns. Yeah, I own that one. So these aren't like. I can remove that. Sometimes you can use exception attribute for. They're sometimes there for a reason. I don't tend to use it very much, but they're there. These are from another code base that makes sense. Okay, great. Let me put the link to this thing in the YouTube video. I should put it in the default one actually. The default description. Notion. Save. Okay, that's on YouTube if anyone wants to take a look. So based on that, we would put the validations below. Let's fix it now. That's what the PR process is for. We just did a little mini code review of our own standards. We didn't like it, and we're going to go change it. And I can't remember which one we have to change, but it is this one. Oh, and didn't we actually add... Oh, no, we added the test for validates, but not the... we didn't add to leave that, okay, because divides adds it. So this is belong to validate. So these can go in the other order as well. They can go in the order that the code goes. Validate presence, okay. And so... Oh, it's organization that was the wrong way around, okay. So we can do order of things. Doesn't matter what they are because we're about to rebase it right now. So we can, oh, they should hopefully be in the same commit anyway. So git rebase. Right. And it will be in the add organization commit. Fix that one up. Just, yeah, both in organization, add organization model. Fix up in there. No. Oh, because I added that in a later commit. Oh shit. Stupid. I didn't need to sort them. Actually, let me bail out of that. I thought I added them all in the same commit, but I didn't, of course, because I did the association layout. That was silly. Git rebase support. Yeah, so it's these little things that really eat up all of your time. Like, who cares about this? Genuinely, like the order that these things are in. But I do care for some reason that I can't articulate particularly well. And then you're like, oh, now I've got to go and fix my own. Because it doesn't matter here because there is only validate. So it's actually only when I add in. It's in this commit that I need to change. These should be the other way around. So it's actually just those. Okay. Can I just fix that one up and it'll do it? Yep. Cool. So you can see, I don't know how clear it will come across on the stream because I can't change the font size, but you can see that we get the little fork here where that one commit has deviated from what's on origin. And we can push that up, but we'll have to force it. So if we try git push origin and then the name of our branch, obviously it will fail because now they don't match. But because we want our local one to be correct, we can just force push that over. And now our code on GitHub should now, this validate should now be below that one when we refresh it. Cool. Okay. Well, so we got bunch of stuff. So this is not a code review, by the way. Like if you're looking at that thinking he's not really reviewing that, you're correct. I am just skimming it just to look for anything crazy. Test stuff. That is not a code review. Add organizations and organization memberships. This is a kind of poor request. I find these helpful to be like, I might be looking for something like you're talking about, like in a year's time. I might be looking for something in a commit, but what I might be looking for is like, what were they doing at this time? Like, what were the engineers working on this, trying to get done? In order to implement some sort of like admin area to be able to know which users were admins, and I made the decision that any user with an associated organization would, for now, could for now be considered an admin. This here sets up the basic models associations for the initial implementation of this, but switching from I to we. I'm going to say we most of the time because we're working on this together. If anyone really disagreed with me, they could put something in the comments. This PR says, but we are aware this is that'll do. So it's an initial implementation of this. That tells people stuff, like maybe I go into more details if the app was more mature or something like that. So we're going to create that pull request. Again, we could have just merged that in to master ourselves, but I think I like going through this workflow on the stream. I think it's going to be helpful. And also I forgot. Oh, we set up CI. Look at this. This is good. So we should have a full test run as a result of this, which I had forgotten we'd set up, and I'm now really glad we did. Cool. So we can. I remember seeing that last time. So we can go. Let me get out of this. Let me get out of this. It generally keeps scrolling me down. Okay. Great. So we can kind of leave that running actually to do its thing, and let's go and take a look at our other branch. Again, I know the font size on this, so we've got, but it adds our Pundit gem. These two can go because that's just about our spec. Then it adds an admin namespace and an official events controller. Right, okay, because we then didn't actually have an event model. And we can, work in progress, look at introducing admin access to events. Right, so we don't have an events model. We were kind of just jumping on that early assumption that there would be events, which is fine. Which is fine. Do we just want to make an event model now? Like an organization can have many events. Like I think maybe we're starting now that we're adding models in, maybe we do just say, right, we're adding the most basic at all times, and we are always refactoring / changing our way into the features that we're building, rather than trying to do any kind of pre-planning. Or we do have some sessions where some kind of like Sunday streams where we actually do the work to be like, okay, right, here's the plan. We're going to do this. When you do this, this is going to happen, and here's how we structure it, rather than just kind of like genuinely like TDD, I guess, our way into it. Like product management by failing test. Let's kind of pick up where that branch leaves off, I suppose. I suppose we could just if we think that's going into master, so we can just rebase that against. It was called add dash Pundit, I think, wasn't it? Add dash Pundit, yeah. Okay, so I've put. Okay, so then we can rebase that against our an organizations branch, and I think we can make it interactive because I think we know that we can knock a couple out. Yeah, so I think we, oh no, it's done it automatically. Okay, great. Let's just save and do that because it cherry picked them so it knows they're the same, I guess. Okay, cool. So that's rebased it without any conflicts, which is great. So now master runs into our add organizations, which has, oh, great. So all the tests for that have passed. So this PR here, show all checks. Cool. And we've got a grand total of 8 tests, which is pretty exciting because it doesn't do anything yet. That's fine. And again, we discussed how we can kind of do the merges. Oh, and I had said we're always just going to rebase it to master, so you can just always have that button. But we can also do it locally, I guess. Like we could just do. God, never do this locally. Do you get checkout master, git merge, add organizations, git push origin master? God, I really don't like writing git push origin master these days. That's a habit from other repos. You can block people pushing to master as well, I think, in GitHub. I think you can have like branch protection. The default branch is considered base. Yeah, I think in here, if you pay for team stuff, you can be like, don't let people push to master. Like they can only. So that should automatically have merged our PR. Yeah. So if that's not a flow you're working from, if you're worried that making the PR is forces you to go out to the GitHub UI to do stuff, or then you have to keep your own, you have to keep kind of pulling master, you can do it from locally. So making the PR doesn't mean that you have to merge the PR from GitHub. You can still just merge the branch in and push master up. But you get a bunch of like GitHub features, like there's branch protections and stuff like that that would prevent you from accidentally overwriting master and stuff like that, which is super helpful. Okay, cool, that's merged. And then we can do add Pundit, and that we want to rebase onto master. And so now again with our little visual thing, we only have 1, 2, 3, 5 commits on top of this. And I think we had a UI here, didn't we? Like if we had, yeah, okay, so we actually added in like a thing that said, hello, welcome to the admin events controller. And we just didn't have a way to ask the user if they were an admin. Cool, okay, so you're on Rails, and it was like /admin/events. Cool, and there is the word event under there, but there's no check at the moment. Yeah, and we were just kind of shooting in the dark as to what we want to do. And I made a Notion page so that we could plan it, and then haven't done any planning around it. That's fine. Okay, so this GitHub thing can go now. Don't need you a moment. Put you down on the other screen. And open up the whip commit that we were working on, and it is spec. And the spec says as an admin, it receives a successful response, and as a non-logged in user, it receives an unauthorized response. Okay, so we were looking, and this is on the admin events controller. Oh, right, and this is in this request spec, which I'm not quite as familiar with. Okay, yeah, I remember doing this a few weeks ago. Okay, great. I'm just going to look through what these other commits were just for 2 seconds. Fix and correct something. Spec description in the previous. Okay. Yeah, let's fix that as well while we're doing this. Just want to not confuse myself as much as possible. Fix that up now. We've actually only got, one's a whip commit, and 2 of them are installing the gem, which is just functional stuff. This one is adding a controller, and then now we're starting to actually add in the access control. Okay. Yeah, okay, so let's go and take a look at this thing. we've got nothing in here so anyone can access it, but presumably we are going to say, what's the Pundit syntax? Authorize? And then you do like, I can't remember how to use Pundit now. You do like authorize. I'm gonna try and test my memory. It's all. Do you have to pass the action name, or does it infer that? And then you give it. So the policies are written where each one has like a set of, they by default you have the action names in the policies. You're like authorize index the user. I can't remember. Go and look it up. Okay. Okay, so we have got this bit running. I think we've already added that to application controller, right? I think we did that. Yes, okay, cool. So that gives us, I think we did this. I think we added the default policy. Yep, and we can go and generate a policy in a second, but what is the actual way to call a policy? Authorize at post. So you authorize, right, okay, and so that then determines the name of the policy, right? Okay, so this one would be like authorize at events, right? How does it do? Oh god, I know this API. I used to use it every day. How does it do like index ones? Oh, do you actually pass it? Supposing you have an instead of post, unless you do authorize post. Because you're in the update action, it infers index. Okay, the authorize method automatically infers that post will have a matching post policy class and instantiates this class handing in the current user in the given record. It then infers from the action name that it should call update on this instance because the action is called update. In this case, you can imagine that authorize would have done something like this. Okay, cool. So how do you do index actions? You pass in the class name. If you don't have an instance for the first argument to authorize, then you can pass the class. For example, post policy def admin list. Right, so here you would have so we would be authing against the organization, not the event itself. So we would have an instance of I'm making this up, but that would take you presumably to the organization policy, because you are not, we wouldn't have an instance of an event at this point. You would have an instance of an organization, because that would determine which events you were able to see. So we would need to know. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you have. Yeah, I think you would always be in an organization, even if you are allowed to have multiple organizations. You can only ever look at one at a time. You can't see all of your events across all organizations, because that makes things really messy from an access control point of view. Plus, it kind of follows a standard. There's not like a drop down list. Somebody can be like, "Are you in organization A or organization B?" and you kind of jump between them, so you get that experience. Like we mentioned Stripe on here a bunch, and another other apps. So organization is like a silo of data that you access. Okay, so we would then, I think I'm just jumping like 5 steps ahead of the complexity when we could just build stuff. This just seemed like an easy, like a few weeks ago, it just seemed like a place to grab hold of. When in fact, just going into the user a tool might just be easier. We just got a bunch of crap that we need to build out, like having the user go in and like see the list of organizations that they are a member of. Like having to deal with all of that crap just seems potentially a better place to start. This was fairly arbitrary. In fact, it was 100% arbitrary. So like, because let me kind of finish articulating the first thought I was trying to do. So here, we're in the index section for admin events controller. So here we presumably would have something like something like this, and this would come from somewhere. We would have, and again, these might not be in this controller specifically. There might be concerns or some other generic code that handles this, but whatever. It's just for things. So here we would be like organization equals, and we would get this from I don't know, like a place. It's just an example. Like it could be a param, for example. It probably wouldn't. It could be from the URL. It could be like the subdomain or something like that, and they would figure it out. Like organization. Whatever, just define. Like that's like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You end up with an organization. So here we would then have like at events equals. Again, this is very naive, but it would be something like that. So you've got some stuff. But you only care for the authorize whether this user can access this list of events for this organization. So you get in Pundit, you get the user for free passed in there. You then say for organization, and then you could be like admin. And then you could have an equivalent. This is a super naive implementation, but you could then have, do we have a policy somewhere? There's like a policies directory, right? So in here, no, new file, you could have organization policy. I think they were singulars. And then I always like these being really tied to the action name that you were calling, but like organization. You could do user dot. You don't even need a method on the user. I mean, it could be helpful, but you could have like organization membership dot where user organization record dot exists. Oh, I can't remember. There's like one of them is more performant than any of the others. That could kind of be it. And then you could just use that same line. And then this could sit on top of all. You could have this as like this could actually live in the base controller here. As the before action. Auth. Or admin, I don't know, again. Just kind of. I think there's like a one-liner or something you can add to Pundit to get that to happen. I don't know if you have to have it like this. Because then you could also add in here the devise one, which is like something authenticated user, something, can't remember, like has authenticated user or something. There's like a devise one. This could then be your default Pundit one, so you have to have a user to even get in here. Then we have to make sure that the user does this, and then you could just run a spec. So you would also want this. If you got it from a URL, like if you said all, well, it doesn't have to come from the URL. It would have to be like a robust way of checking the organization. So yeah, I guess like the URL is a pretty solid way to do that, I guess. I don't really see a downside of that, but you could set it in the user's session stuff, I guess. I guess if you have to start dealing with apps and stuff, but then, you know, you've got other problems. So here you could also extract this out to the base controller. You could say that you have to do that, then you have to do that. That could come out as well. This could oh no, yeah, that could be right. And then this then becomes because they inherit from admin base controller, each controller itself within the admin area doesn't actually have to doesn't have to do anything about admin checks. And maybe you would then need, I don't know, code for exemptions or something like that. And then it also gives you with this like a central point at which you could do when you change the implementation from something basic, which is like has that membership, you only then have one policy that you need to change, which could potentially be pretty helpful. That doesn't like I was using that as an example. That doesn't feel awful, I guess. And also it means that we don't have to have this concept of an event in any way to implement this. So this wouldn't be authorized organization. This would just be authorized organization because that would have been set. And did I call it admin? Yeah, admin. You probably name some of this more appropriately. That could go all together. So potentially would this would this work? Like, where's that test I just had? Hang on, let me just read this. So before, it's not. Let me check what that the devise thingy is. Something like authenticated. I think it's got the word authenticated. Device authenticated _ user. Check for. Oh man, there's so many docs in here. Controller filters and helpers. Okay, authenticate user. I think it's this. So that basically just checks that you have someone logged in, and by someone our resource is called user, which is why we could do that, because otherwise it would be like authenticate member or whatever. So this won't work. It will work. We just need to add it. So if we, well, maybe, yeah, hang on a second. Maybe this actually will do a thing. Maybe this will do a thing. Do we care about this thing? Okay, I've got 20 minutes because I have to go at 12 because I've got a dead stop today. Let's just keep, let's get this working. Let's get this working. Why not? And what we'll do is I'll say it out loud now so that we remember that this isn't actually necessarily how we want to do this, but we just want to get this working to know that that we could from an initial bit of scratch code, and also that it's one option that we've got, and then we can kind of go and reverse back into a better one if we want to. We want our tests. That's the actual thing that we're trying to get working. It's this test here. So, so as an admin, before make an admin. And the indexation is get, and so before that, we want to I don't think we have any factory set up for any of the stuff we've just done. don't even think we have factory bot or anything, so we'll just do this like this. Test organization. So we have an organization, and then this. We're just doing this to get this test passing, just so we can then add it. So we can add organization ID. Again, this might not be how we actually implement this, but ID. Okay, fine. So we have that. So we're in there. We then want to make. Do we have a user at that point? We need a user as well. Okay. Create. Oh man. And they would need like an email. Yeah, we'll do factories another day. We'll do stuff like that. As I don't know what a user needs. I think it's just email address and password. But we'll find out because this will keep failing. And then we can say dot create, and we can say user is our user. Or I could actually do these as lets and have them. We could use the name. That's a bit long, so we can probably do. Oh, it's not if we remove that. Okay. Do this. This is not great, by the way. So, like, I'm not suggesting that this is how you would do it. But it was more just so that we could see where the user was coming from rather than having to use the. Because then you could swap out the implementation for factories without having to change the names. And then here you could say user is user and organization is organization. That could be a bang method so that you know it's either worked or not. Yeah, super messy, but we don't really care too much. Oh, okay. Is it just me or the display is dark? I'm hoping not. I've got the thing open in YouTube. I'm really hoping it's just you. Oh no, I'm seeing those emojis that you're putting in there. I'm hoping that those working. Okay, right. That's so we're kind of cracking through this. So go organization, user. And before they do it, we're making this organization membership, and that's it. I think we're gonna, because all we're looking for in that Pundit check is the presence of this record, right? And the request now has that param on it. No, I have no idea if that's gonna work. And because of that authorized check, I assume Pundit automatically spits out this. No idea. This is kind of us just shooting in the dark a little bit while we. Next week we'll kind of plan, now that we have all the models in. What am I doing? I want copy relative path. There we go. Okay, there's no way this can pass first time because I'm just not that good at remembering anything. Okay, great. Undefined method by default nil. Oh, because it's at organization and it should be organization. And this one. We didn't log the user in. Okay, great. So that's fine. So somewhere we've got an @ symbol that we don't need, and it is here. So we should have a different error on that test anyway. Okay, so it got redirected rather than unauthorized. So maybe that test could change because you probably got redirected to like sign in. To redirect to users sign in. Again, this is not good because like you might use the path helper, you might extract this out to a test that's reusable. We're just not that it's not good, but it's just not very reusable. We're just doing this as a one-off just to get this passing for now. Oh, whoops, I've changed the wrong one, sorry. I do want that, but I didn't want it there. Wanted that one to change. Great. Okay, so now we've only got one failure. So this test is basically saying if you are not logged in, it redirects to the sign in page. And then it runs the index action, and that is a let up here, which basically runs the controller action, and then it should be bumping into this method on this before action on the base controller, which is authenticate user. So it's the devise code that I think is preventing that from working, or from preventing the user from accessing it and doing that redirect. That's good. Here we want to be getting a successful response, and we think we've set the user up to pass our test, but we didn't sign them in from device's point of view. But I think my memory is that you used to be able to just do this, and I'm not even going to check it because that's how crazy confident I am. Maybe that was a helper that I put in. Oh no. There's a bunch of helpers you get, like warden helpers from devise to log you in. Right, so I think we're already in devise. Okay, so can I just look for like helpers, test helpers that I'm looking for. Controller tests require that you include blah, blah, blah. So we are using, if you're using RSpec, you can put the following inside a blah, 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 blah. Okay, great. These are request helpers. We're in request test, sorry. So rather than controller test, integration test. I wonder which ones we can use, but I'm hoping we just do type request at the end. Yeah, let's just try and be really cheeky and not read any more docs and just see if we can. If you're using RSpec in names or in your spec helper, or if you're using RSpec Rails, RSpec.configure. Okay, so I think we already have an RSpec.configure because we are using RSpec Rails. So let's grab that and go and find it. It is one of these two. It is this one, spec helper. RSpec.configure do. RSpec.configure do. Okay. Blah 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 stuff. I put these ones instead of the Rails helper, which is the. Are these doing the same thing? RSpec configure do config. Yeah, I think. Why have I got two? One is from the Rails. Yeah, I think I probably want this in the Rails one. Can't remember. There was a change. You used to only have one of these, and now you have both general. So let's tuck it down here because I put there. Yeah, but I want them in type request because I haven't got actual controller tests. And let's see if that does anything. And then I didn't actually look what they were. Oh, okay, interesting. So now I have a thing different. So something is happening. Yeah, okay. So I think that didn't work, but I'm going to Google that real quick. So Rails. I've got 10 minutes. So Rails devise request spec helper. Integration helpers I'm looking for. And I think I had controller helpers. Cool. I'm really hoping that works. Let's run that again. Thank you to whoever put that answer in Stack Overflow if it does work. Oh, they're confirmable. Right, okay. So if you look at what this error is saying, it's like link to confirm my account confirmation URL. Missing host to link to. Please provide the host parameter. Oh, okay. So is the host param not set up for the tests? again, is that something we can do in the config? If I Google that error message, will someone have the one-liner that I need to add that? Missing link to please provide the host parameter. I'm just hoping I can Google this. So basically, I think that trying to render that view is because it doesn't have the... Yes, it's the thing that we did here. What's the good one for test? Okay, yeah, so they might already exist. So we did that for our development environment already, but I couldn't remember the liner. So it's something environments. Is there one in here for action mail already that's just commented out? Form caching. What's it called? Default URL options. Default. No, okay, so... I think I've always put it under the other one. I don't know if it actually matters what you pick there. Let's see if that then passes. Or at least gives us a different error. Oh, it does give us a different error. Oh, it redirected us somewhere. Where did it take us? Okay, exciting. Okay, change in error. A change in failure is always good if you're trying to get somewhere. We don't know what it did, but it did something that we didn't expect it to do. Is it because we're not signed in? Let's just see where it... so let's say we expected it to redirect to anywhere, somewhere random that we don't believe is a real place. Because I'm just trying to quickly answer where is it taking us. And it is taking us to user sign-in. So this is perhaps not working. Do we have confirmable turned on? I'm aware that that's always a pain in the bum when you do, because you're, by default, it's like, hey, don't let anyone into this application unless they are confirmed. So they've done that thing where the, they are confirmable. Okay, so let's see if we can change that and put this at confirmed at. That might not be the issue, but there's a bunch of stuff in devise that by default means nothing will happen. Undefined. Oh, okay, great. Did you mean authorize? Every stream we bump into the American and British English. Did I mean authorize? But that's good because it means that we are now getting to. So we can probably take that one out and put our real test back. Because now something else is happening. Did I mean authorize? I probably meant authorize with a Z. Or a Z if you are using American English. Different failure again? Exciting. Okay, def admin. So we've got a typo in our policy. Again, always good to be using your tests to find out all the crap that you typed in wrong. But again, like we weren't trying to do TDD. I only wrote this out initially. Put invalid constructor, invalid organization policy constructor is called. Interesting. Okay, I've got 5 minutes to fix this one. Pundit invalid constructor error. Admin. Is this not real? Does this actually work? So let's just. Have I put pry in here? Please tell me I put pry in here. It would be helpful. By bug. Does by bug come with like a pry thing? Because I can't remember. Call by bug anywhere in the code to stop the execution. Okay, great. I have never used by bug before. I've only used pry, so let's just see what we get here. But I want that test to run. We've got 5 minutes. We're going to fix it. Yeah, it's going to be okay, great, because I've got to go meet my friend in a few minutes. Okay, great. So does this... No, it doesn't, because we didn't create the organization yet, I don't think. Oh, it does. Okay, great. We did, yes. Okay, we did remember to do that. Okay, great. So we have a thing. So at organization, by this point, should be a real organization. So do we have like a next? This is just going to go back. I wanted to kind of stay at that high level. Okay, I'm just going to that. Wrong number of arguments given to expected 0 to initialize. Given to expected 0. So I'm screwing up that call to authorize. It's doing some sort of initialization. Organization policy. Okay, I'm obviously... Oh, I didn't read the docs for that. That's why I'm assuming I'm screwing it up. Rails Pundit. I mentioned initialization in here, so it didn't include Pundit. I did that. Yep, great. Oh, do I have to define the initialize on the policy? I thought it would just infer it if it was called organization policy. And the devise policy this is. The Pundit policy. Organization policy. I thought it would just initialize with... Yeah, so I thought here, you usually want to inherit from application policy. Ah, is that the problem? It doesn't inherit from application policy. Is that the problem? Passed, amazing. Okay, so I'm assuming that what you can do, that's why you have the application policy, I guess, because you could just take that out and then put your own initialize in. I can't remember what this did. Oh, not a lot. Initialize user record. And then user... yeah, okay, fine. And we could override that. Like if we gave a shit, we could put our own initialize in here. That's like, it's fine. Amazing. Right. Okay. So what we are saying then is, let me get that buy bug out of there because I'm just gonna keep running that otherwise. I don't know if buy bug is any better or worse than pry. Okay. So like, I mean, this kind of works basically. So if we go back to here, we should refresh this and get redirected to sign in. Yep. Cool. And so we don't have a way to, we have to make it in console, I guess. We could make an organization. But from this point forward, we now have a single point. Let's commit this as a whip. Let's commit this as a series of actual commits, to some of which we want. Because I think we want... Right. Oh, no, I actually have to go. Okay, right. We want that and that. The rest can all be maybes, and we can talk about it. But like we now have a single way to say in our admin namespace, which again I'm not sold on the name of admin, maybe like admin panel or something, like or admin area, I don't know, something. Is this user able to administrate this area? And at the moment it's a really naive, dumb implementation. It looks for one thing. Here, you want to always have the organization, which we would infer somehow from the like a subdomain or something like that. We would then say admin, and that admin check just looks for the presence of an organization membership on the between the organization and the user. It's super dumb, super naive, but hopefully useful to someone if you're ever looking to set these up. I'll try and write this up in the video description, and then people tend to find these later. I gotta go. Thank you so much for everyone who dropped in the chat. Again, I will try and do something midweek, maybe around the design or the product management side of things. And other than that, have wonderful weeks. Enjoy yourselves, and I will see you, and we will do more Rails stuff next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.